What's going on, guys? Hope we're doing well. This is just Coach Sean from A1 Fitness. Just wanted to come at you today with a quick video just about hydration and how much water you should be drinking on a daily basis. So this is obviously a really important factor for a lot of people, as literally tens of thousands of people ask Google every month, how much water should I drink? And, we just get pointed to stories, and I've been a, victim of this as well. Of like stories that go like this. Most people are dehydrated and they don't know it, right? Where have you read that before? Probably on Google. So they list like headaches, constipation, bad breath, and other dehydration dangers. And they all are dangers. So it is super important that we keep hydrated. And obviously, when you read these stories, they encourage you to guzzle water, which again is good, but make sure that you're not overdoing it. Because in reality, the answer to how much water should you drink is actually incredibly short and simple. If you're thirsty, drink something. If you're not thirsty, don't worry about it. So thirsty, like for me, comes up in a lot of different ways. I may feel like a lack of, energy at the time. I may be feeling a little bit of brain fog. So, that would mean for me that I'm thirsty. So as well as just the physical, actual thing of, oh yeah, my mouth's a bit dry, I need some water. So why am I going on and am I talking about this? So really, there's, like everything, there's a few exceptions to this, okay? And maybe you're one of those exceptions. So that's why I created this video. So we all know, guys, that we need water, right? So why do you need water? So I'm sure you probably already heard this somewhere along the lines. Your body is more than 60% water, okay? It uses that fluid for obvious things like blood, sweat, tears, all the stuff that we know, and some less obvious things like regulating our body temperature, helping your body make hormones, and making sure that, your brain doesn't go crazy and smash into your skull when you're doing those burpees in your HIIT class, right? So it's true, obviously, that chronic dehydration can raise your risk for a host of problems that no one wants to have, such as kidney stones, UTIs or urinary tract infections, and negative cognitive and physical performance, like I've talked about. So we don't want that, because that's what chronic dehydration can point you towards. But as I say, there's a difference between chronic dehydration, which is being mildly dehydrated a lot of the time, and acute dehydration, which is more severe and requires timely intervention. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're not going towards acute dehydration, but also making sure that, we're not constantly chronically dehydrated as well, which is what we want to work on here. So humans need about 3 liters of fluids every day. All right. And the exact amount will vary from person to person, just like it always does. Depending on someone's diet, about, a liter of that will come through food, especially if they're eating like watery foods like vegetables, fruit, prepared oats or yogurt. So that leaves about 2 liters to get from like beverages that you may have throughout the day, tea, coffee, water, etc. So really you've probably heard this a lot of the time, but like drink 8 cups of water a day. So that equals to about 2 liters, depending on the size of the glass you're using. Is actually a really good general rule. And it's what I incorporate inside all of my programs as well for when we're getting started. So again, there's going to be many factors. Maybe sometimes you'll need to drink more, which I'm going to get into now. So how much water you will need will depend on a range of factors. Okay. So like age, weight, height, health status, activity level. We've all heard of that before. So if you're like small and you don't do any, you don't do much movement, you might need a lot less than 3 liters. And then if you're in a larger body and you also exercise, say in a hot, humid environment, you're going to need more water. Pretty obvious, right? So that's why thirst is probably a much better gauge than forcing yourself to guzzle a predetermined volume. So I've like fallen into habits of this sometimes as well. So really just using your thirst as a gauge is much better than just forcing a load of water down into you, unless of course you feel like you need it. Okay. So again, unless you're an athlete, elderly or pregnant, this could change. Okay. So though your thirst mechanism works well during rest, when you're exercising, it doesn't function as well. Okay. So there was a research study done in the 1930s when they asked a man and a dog to walk just 20 miles, which was 32 kilometers in 40-degree heat in somewhere in America, Nevada or something in the desert. And both the man and the dog could drink whenever they wanted, but only the dog actually finished well hydrated, right? So the man, on the other hand, lost 3 kilos of his body mass through water loss. right? That was insane. So research shows that when people are doing intense exercise, rely on thirst alone, they tend to underconsume. All right. So we don't want that, replacing only about half of what they lose. I know I've done this a lot over my time as well. So people can lose 1 to 2% of their body weight very, very quickly when they're exercising intensely in a hot or humid environment. So that's enough to actually raise heart rate, body temperature, and your perception of effort as well. All right, as we all see if we've done a major sort of, HIIT class or cardio session in the gym or just ourselves. And for aerobic efforts, when like we're running, cycling, having a lot of water will slow you down. So like I know that I noticed the difference when I've drank too much water when I go out for a run. Very, very easy to notice. But again, sort of knowing these things, some people, might notice it, some people might not, depending on how in tune they are to their body. So in addition to the liter of fluid that you get from food, when you're exercising, you should be consuming at least 3 liters of fluid on the day that you exercise. Okay, so that breaks down as follows. So it's 1 liter before and during exercise, 1 liter after exercise, and 1 liter throughout the day, with roughly 1 to 2 cups of water with each meal, aka about, you're touching more than 3 liters. So you're looking at about sort of 3.5. All right, if you're having 1 liter throughout the day and then 1 to 2 cups with each meal. All right, so you're talking six cups throughout the day, and then a little bit more after exercise and before and during as well. So when we're doing long, like intense exercises, all right, or like long duration, think of like running a marathon or something, you're going to lose more than just water. Okay, so this includes sodium, potassium, other electrolytes that we need to replace like straight away. Okay, otherwise you may risk sodium deficiency. So instead of plain water, when you're coming through and doing a really, really high, intensity, long exercise routine, again, think of a marathon. All right, you want to be consuming an electrolyte beverage such as a sports drink. All right, something with not too much. It's going to have a little bit of sugar in it for sure, but that's going to be super important for obviously replacing the electrolytes and the sodium back into our body that we've just, sweated out throughout that long, intense session, especially if it's been hot and humid. And yeah, when it's more than 2 hours, this is something that we definitely want to be doing. Okay, so how do we actually calculate our water needs? Okay, so you got 2 options. All right, so option number 1, as I said at the start, just drink when you're thirsty. Super easy. Okay, so this works for most people, including people who live in cold to cool moderate climates, people younger than 65, and non-athletes. Okay, and then option 2, okay, is monitor your urine. All right, so this, some people occasionally suffer from acute dehydration. All right, I know when I was working in hospitality, I was constantly just on my feet, running here, there, and everywhere. I literally had 0 time to drink water. I hear this a lot from people who work in the healthcare industry as well, especially now because they're like wearing a mask. This is a really, really important that you monitor your urine to make sure that you're not dehydrated throughout the day. So it's really easy. All right, so how do you know? The simple answer is check the toilet. Okay, so the more dehydrated you are, the greater your urine osmolality or saltiness. And then how you know that you're dehydrated is through the color. So the more yellow it is, the more dehydrated you is, the more clear it is, the less dehydrated, more hydrated you are. Okay, so I have a chart, guys, that I'm more than happy to share with you if you're interested. If you're a member of my A1 Elite Club, it's in the file section. If you're not, just reach out to me if you're seeing this video somewhere else, and I'm more than happy to provide you with it. Or you can just go online and you can search it just on precisionnutrition.com and you'll find that there as well. So, and monitoring your urine, guys, just to be aware, is super helpful for people that are over 65. You hear of a lot of people that are over 65 that, get admitted into hospital with acute dehydration. So it's really, really important that they're monitoring their urine if they can as well. And people who exercise in hot conditions, it's really, really important that you do that as well. Like, for example, I remember back when I was climbing Mount Kenya back in 2005, that we had to constantly be keeping track of what our pee was looking like when we were peeing, because you just don't notice it as much when it's hot sometimes. You know, your mind is obviously worried about a lot of other things because it's hot. So you don't worry about it so much. So yeah, really, really important that you monitor your urine. And again, super important for people who are working really, really intense jobs. As I say, like for me in hospitality, but more now what I'm hearing is for people in healthcare wearing masks and are just here, there and everywhere, taking care of everyone else around them, but they got to make sure that they're drinking water along the way as well. So I hope you found that really useful today, guys. Just a quick one about sort of, water and hydration and making sure that, yeah, you are staying hydrated throughout your day, especially on the days that you're doing exercise, all right, to make sure that, you're at your best every day. And it's a really good way for obviously, regulating your appetite and for weight loss as well, which is one of the main reasons that I make it one of the first habits that my clients concentrate on inside of my A1 Elite Club program. So if you're looking for more details on that team, you can just send me a message wherever you're seeing this video, or if you're already a member of the A1 Elite Club, great to have you here. Nice one for checking out this video, and drop any questions that you may have about this in the comments or just reach out to me. All right, speak to you very soon, guys. Take it easy.